sellers want you to hear their side of the story. They want you, the home buyer, to understand what they're going through, how you and them are in the same boat now. They want you to have an empathetic heart for them, guys, and understand we're all in this housing market together. Now, listen, guys, before you get mad and you click off the video and you say,
Orlando, these sellers.
I need you to hear this side of the story. I really do. I promise you, before the end of this video, this will help you understand why there are some opportunities that will be coming your way and the reason why these are going to happen, guys. But before we get into that, my name is Orlando. Welcome to the channel, guys. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button because this is going to be a good one. I promise you. And make sure you sign up for my newsletter, guys. Look, you know my videos are good. Make sure you sign up to my newsletter. It's free. Look, it's free. You get a lot of great info that I release every week. Make sure you check it out in the description. I will also pin it in the comments. Sign up today, guys. I promise you, you will love it. Now, we know sellers are going through it. They're in a situation where they are thinking, I don't want to end up like home buyers. I don't want to end up like the current home buyers where I have to buy an overpriced home and also I have to pay ridiculously high interest rates. So, I don't know. I think I'm going to sit on the sidelines right now. I don't know. But hear my story and understand, home buyer. As a seller, this is what I'm going through. And we're going to go over some stories here that kind of explain the situation where I can give you an in-depth breakdown of why I believe this is going to help you. And we're going to see tons of sellers in this situation putting up their homes for sale. Now, let's start off with this one. It says, stuck with a costly fixer-upper. 8 months ago into her pregnancy and hundreds of miles away from Georgia, Madeline was eager to move back near her family in Tampa, Florida. And fast, in July 2020, she snapped up a 3-bedroom fixer-upper for $365,000, closing quickly even though the inspection came back with a long list of problems. Where have we talked about this? Where have we? I can't remember. That's a bad sign. But hey, look, she did say it was a fixer-upper, so, you know, maybe she was expecting that. And then it says here, with a 2.75% mortgage rate and monthly payments of $2,700, the career coach thought she snagged a deal for the home and fitted with a pool and French doors throughout to take advantage of the Florida sun. There goes that weather. Every time we mention Florida, every time it comes to home buying, the number one thing on people's list is weather. It's not the cost of the home. It's not the fact that your home can get blown away by a hurricane. It's not the fact that insurance and taxes are ridiculous. It's the weather. But after high-earning remote workers made Tampa a pandemic boomtown, her property value ballooned to $620,000. Now, guys, we got to remember, this is great, right? This is great news that our property went up. It blew up, like they're saying in this article. It's a great thing, right?
That's pretty good.
Her taxes and insurance premiums jumped along with it. Suddenly, the single mom's monthly housing costs totaled $3,400. $3,400, guys. Now remember, previously it was $2,700, so it went up $700. That's not counting the $80,000 bill she racked up replacing 1960s era appliances and fixing old leaky pipes. As a renter, she's been used to landlords taking care of the repairs. This is what these sellers are dealing with. Now, you know, the sympathy may not go that far. Because she is in a situation where she has $620,000 that the property ballooned up to, and she had bought the property for $365,000. So she does have a bunch of equity in there. But here's the thing. She doesn't want to leave Florida.
Welcome to Florida.
She wants to purchase another property at a steal like she did before. Now, here's the thing. She wants to stay in Florida.
Look and say, okay, look, maybe I need to move out of Florida. Maybe I should take this amount of money and move to a place that maybe I could get more for a house.
She said, no way.
Hell no.
I'm not gonna take the money. I'm not gonna move to another place because I want to stay in Florida. which is her prerogative. She can have it. But unfortunately, you cannot, as a seller, have it both ways. You can't on one end say,
oh man, everything's so high and everything's so expensive.
but you got a great deal on a property, you fixed it up, and now it's worth more, but you don't want to pull out the equity. You can't have it both ways. You can't on one hand be happy that the value went up and that you were part of a situation where your equity ballooned and now you have $300,000 of equity in a property. You can't be happy about that, but then be mad that prices and everything went up and now you're paying extra on monthly bills, on your monthly mortgage and insurance and property taxes and appliances. You have to make a decision and go, look, maybe I should just take this money and move to a different area where I can take advantage of lower prices, of lower price points.
That's a great idea. I'm with that.
It's going to be very hard to find a property like you found earlier, quote unquote, that fixer-upper in the same market that you're in right now, especially when property taxes are higher, insurance is higher, and values are higher, and interest rates. All of these things are high now. When something goes wrong in your home, you're on the hook for it, and something is always breaking. This is something that I hope, guys, listen, I hope that when you purchase a home, you understand this from the very beginning. And it's not something that you're coming to realization after you're put into a bad situation and you're now paying that extra money. Let me tell you this, and if you don't know this now, learn it right now. If you purchase a home, there will be extra costs that you cannot plan for. Just like when you buy a car, just like when you buy anything else that has maintenance on it, you will have to fix things. This is no longer a situation where you're renting and the landlord will have to fix it. You have to fix it yourself. And there will be costs that come along with that. So for her to come to this realization only after she's bought the property, only after the costs have went up, it just shows you where some sellers are. But let's continue on. It says the equity in the home will help her build a better life for her and her daughter in the long run, she said. But the stress of raising a 3-year-old while keeping up with a constant stream of house projects often makes her want to cut the place loose. I'm stuck, she said. If I want to sell my house and go back to renting is so expensive that it doesn't make sense. Let's break this down really simple, guys. So on one end, she has a pile of money in equity that she could sell her home for and ride off into the sunset. And then on the other end, she has high costs on everything and the monthly payments are eating her alive.
Pay up, girl.
This is a situation that a lot of sellers are coming into, guys, is they have this pile of cash, which is equity that is went up by, right? That the property has ballooned up to, but they're getting ate alive monthly. Their monthly income does not cover the increases in insurance and property taxes and fixing up the house. They cannot afford it. And so I'm seeing a lot of scenarios happen like this where an individual does not want to get rid of a home, even though they have a lot of money in equity, but they're getting ate alive monthly because their monthly income won't cover the actual house now because they didn't expect insurance to go up, property taxes to go up, which, let's get this straight, guys. Let's hope you understand this. If your property value goes up, your taxes will go up.
Are you shocked?
Everything will go up. Your insurance is going to go up, especially in Florida, guys. You know, everybody's running from Florida. You know, hurricanes hitting here and there, natural disasters. Of course, your prices are going to go up. So you should look at these things before you jump into a house. And this is what I say all the time. And this is the reason why you should not buy into these overpriced homes. You're going to buy into an overpriced home right now. And you're going to think, wow, things are going to go up. What happens if you are in this same situation? This same situation, guys. But values go down. But your insurance is high. Property taxes are already elevated, so they won't go down. I can promise you this, taxes will not go down.
We're in a different era. Get over it. Whoa!
They either stay the same or go up. And then you have negative equity. equity. This is what I want you to avoid. Now, let's get into another story really quickly, guys. It says, moving on teachers' money. Now, this is a really big thing, guys, because what are we seeing in this? What are we seeing? What is the common theme? The common theme is income stays the same, expenses go up, but someone has a lot of money or they're equity rich. And here's the thing, most people believe that just because someone is equity rich, that all of a sudden they're rich, right? That's not the case. Their money is locked into their home. But now they're playing this game of chicken where they can barely afford the mortgage because of expenses going up. And then they're having to fix things like water heaters, roofs, and all these extra things. They can't afford it, but they got a pile of money in equity. But they don't want to sell. That's the thing. They don't want to sell because they want to stay in the same location. They don't want to go into an area or a home that's cheaper. They want to find, which I don't blame them. Everybody should want to do what's best for them and their family. I get that. But the reality is that a lot of these sellers are going to have to either move into a location that they can afford, or they're going to have to go into the rental market, but they'll have a ton of cash. That's the decision that they're going to have to make. But I'm going to keep rambling. Let me go on. It says, after divorcing, the only way Catherine could afford a home on her own on a teacher salary in Covington, Tennessee, was to go through a federal grant program that allowed applicants to put no money down. So she went into this with no money down. She went through a program. In 2013, she scored a Minor Ranch home for about $115,000. Prices shot up in the area after Ford Motor Company announced plans for an electric vehicle plant. And her house was recently assessed at more than double the purchase price, guys. Her home went up from $115,000 to $230,000. That meant that she had an additional $115,000 in equity. Now, you would think that would be a great thing, like we talked about earlier. A refi dropped her initial 3% mortgage down to 2%, but her insurance costs and her taxes jumped, raising her total monthly payments to $1,110. They started at $750. We're trying to move on teachers' money, she said, but with nothing available for less than $400,000, their payments would at least triple. I'm an elder millennial who's lived through 2 financial crises. I'm weary on taking on more debt. We're waiting for interest rates to go down for there to be more homes on the market. Now, I think it's really important to read the numbers here. I think you know me. I'm a math guy. And I hope that you're a math person too, because let's take a look at the difference between what she's actually mad about and complaining about to what's actually happening. So we see that her monthly payments were $1,110, and she's complaining that they previously were $750. The difference between that is $360. That's right. I know some of you guys are like, what? She's complaining over $360? Yes. Now, while this may not be a lot to you or to someone else, it's a lot to her. And it's a valid point because she's working on a teacher salary. And I personally believe teachers should get paid more, right? Right? They should. I could be a teacher. But here's the thing. She knew her salary previously before. She knows what her salary is possibly going to be in the future. So that portion isn't a surprise to her. But the $360 difference that's causing her all of this heartburn and heartache when she has $115,000 in equity of home that she could sell, but yet she wants to move to a more expensive place. Does that make sense? She wants to move to New York and California. New York and California? You're going to get a 1,000 square foot home for $1 million in California. New York, it's no cheaper. Why on earth would you move from Tennessee with $115,000 in equity and only want to move to the most expensive places in the United States?
Why would we do that?
So that doesn't line up the reason why she's making these choices. So what she's saying is I'm going to wait until rates come down so I can buy the most expensive home with the equity that I've built up, rather than taking that money and buying a home in the Midwest where she currently is by either paying it halfway off with the money or paying a good chunk of it off, or using that money to purchase a home that's bigger. Instead of doing that, And you have to remember, guys, what did she say in the thing? She says, I'm an elder millennial who has lived through 2 financial crises, and I'm weary on taking on more debt. So she doesn't want to take on more debt, but she's going to move to the most expensive places in the United States, which takes on more debt. Instead of taking the equity that she's built in her home and paying off a house, she's going to take the money and put it into the most expensive homes in the United States on both ends of the coast. If you've watched my videos, you've known that I've told you guys that both sides of the coast are the most expensive. Anything that's on a coast is gonna cost you. And it's not just gonna cost you in the purchase price, it's gonna cost you everywhere else. Also, as this may not give you the sympathy in sellers is saying, I totally understand where they're coming from. They have boatloads of cash, and I want to make sure that they keep that. As you may not have that sympathy for them. The point of this video was so you understood as a buyer, and some of you sellers too, how ridiculous it is to hold on to all of that equity and want to move. Now remember, these individuals want to move and not to put yourself in a better position with all of the equity that you have and you want to move. And as a home buyer, how a lot of these sellers are getting ate up on the monthly expenses, even though they have a nest egg of equity. They're equity rich. They are income poor. The amount of money that they have coming in from their jobs and their expenses, they're getting ate alive on that. And so they will be forced to sell one way or the other. And it's unfortunately, and hopefully there will be some deals that come up for you. I just wanted to show you guys this. I thought it was very interesting. Hopefully the video wasn't too long and you got value out of this and you were entertained also, guys. As always, you won't get all of your information from this one video. Check out this video here. I promise you, it'll give you information on the housing market, financial news, get you in your first rental property, and I promise you the information you will get from that video, it will be gold. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.